All right, let's talk about discipline. We hear that word all the time, right? But what does it really take to build an extraordinary life? In this explainer, we're going to break down the raw, honest truth. So think about the real geniuses out there. The people who just seem naturally gifted at what they do. Well, it turns out they make up less than 1% of the entire population. Less than 1%. So what about everyone else? Well, that leaves the other 99+%. And you know who that is? That's us. We're the ones who can't just coast on some kind of innate, effortless talent to get where we want to go. Right. So if we're not in that tiny, tiny minority, what's the secret ingredient for the rest of us? What's the thing we absolutely need to accomplish something great? And boom, here's the answer, loud and clear. It's discipline. But, and this is crucial, it's a specific kind of discipline. This isn't about finding the easy path. No way. It's about actively, purposefully pushing through discomfort and learning to embrace the hard work, the grind. Okay, so let's dive into that. The 99% reality. Because for most of us, discipline isn't just some helpful tool. It is an absolute non-negotiable requirement. You know this feeling, right? We've all been there. You wake up one day, you look around at your life, and you just think, how did I get here? How did I end up so far from where I thought I'd be? It's this super frustrating, confusing moment of like, what happened? So you ask that question, how did I get here? And the answer, well, it's brutally simple. Your choices. That's it. Your life today is literally the sum total of all the tiny decisions you make, day in and day out. And this right here just nails the core problem. You're trying to get to a certain place, right? You have a goal. But the choices you're making every single day, they're not going to get you there. They're actually taking you somewhere else. And that gap, that space between your goals and your actions, that's where failure lives. So that brings up a really important question. Why do we make those poor choices? And that leads us to our next point, the worship of comfort. There's a deeper reason for this, and it has everything to do with something our culture basically teaches us to worship. We always blame laziness for our lack of progress. Oh, I'm just lazy. But what if laziness isn't the real problem? What if it's just a symptom of something way, way deeper? Here it is. This is the real culprit. A deep-seated craving for comfort. It's this desire to only do what feels easy, what feels natural, what requires absolutely no struggle. It's the belief that life should be painless. And this reframes everything perfectly. See, your problem isn't some character flaw called laziness. No, laziness is the result. It's the logical outcome of prioritizing comfort above all else. When you worship ease, you naturally start avoiding anything and everything that's hard. All right, so if worshiping comfort is the problem, how in the world do we find the discipline to fight back? Well, the answer's kind of surprising. You don't find discipline. It finds you. It all starts by choosing which voice in your head you're going to listen to. On one side, you've got the voice of the lie. It's the one telling you, hey, everything's okay. You're winning. No need to change. But then on the other side, you've got the voice of the truth. And that voice is honest enough to say, you could be better. You could do more. And that is the key. That's the whole game. When you stop lying to yourself, when you finally confront the honest, uncomfortable truth about your own potential, discipline isn't something you have to go looking for. It just shows up. It becomes the automatic, necessary response to hearing that truth. Okay, so you've confronted the truth, and discipline has found you. Now what? Well, now you learn how to wield your greatest tool, your mind. It's a weapon. And this means we have to completely redefine what the greatest version of ourselves looks like. It's not this chaotic, I can do anything version over on the left. The real powerhouse is the disciplined version on the right, the person who sets parameters, who is focused, and who knows exactly what to avoid. Think about it like this. Your mind is an incredibly powerful weapon. But a weapon is useless, or worse, it's dangerous, if you don't control it. Most people just let circumstances point their mind for them. The goal is to be the one to pick that weapon up, take control, and aim it deliberately at what you want. And when you learn to control that weapon, this is what you build. Discipline, persistence, patience, grit, character. These aren't things you're born with. Not at all. They are forged in the fire of doing things you don't feel like doing, over and over and over again. They are developed, not inherited. All right, let's bring all this home with one final crucial idea. The problem isn't your circumstances, it's the pattern. We've talked about choices, comfort, and control, and this is how it all connects to your actual real-world results. I mean, it's just human nature, right? When things go wrong, we immediately look for external excuses. We blame our situation, our background, our genetics, literally anything but ourselves. But what if we looked at it from a totally different angle? What if the problem isn't any single event that happens to you, but the pattern of your response? Your entire life is simply a reflection of your habitual reactions to everything. And this gives us a super clear 3-step formula for change. If you want to change your product, your results in life, you first have to change your pattern, your habits. And how do you do that? You start by changing your input, what you read, what you watch, what you feed your mind. And so we end here with this. This is the final, most powerful takeaway. Whatever is going on in your life, it is your fault. And look, that's not meant to be a condemnation. It's actually meant to be empowering. Because if you own it, if you accept that responsibility, then you, and only you, have the power to deal with it and to change it.